so much going against you,
Yeah.
and you're just so dogged to like persevere and show the commitment and show the belief.
Still gonna come in and give the coach and give the team 100%. That's something that I value more than the fee. Because I think if I could only choose one, it would obviously be a manager at a football club for a men's team.
Hi guys, this is Barry from HYA Football. We've got episode 3, a very special guest, one of the originals. He is in fact a long-term professional, but also personal friend of mine, and known him for a number of years. So we get to learn a little bit about his journey. We have got Amoyy Bailey in front of us. So Amoyy, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing very great. I'm actually very happy to be here. Been looking forward to this for a long time, and yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming down. I really appreciate your time, and just to get a chance for everyone to know a little bit more about yourself. We've obviously known each other for a long, long time, and we'll discuss a little bit about how we first met way back as a 16-year-old student. But for people to get a little bit of an understanding, Amoyy is a football coach. He's been doing it for the last 7 years. Also, he's an education practitioner in PE within primary schools. So he's got a wealth of experience working with youth and youth development. And the idea is that we'll just go find a little bit of what your journeys look like so far, but also, looking where the next steps are taking you ahead. So let's rewind back. 16-year-old Amoyy is the first time I laid eyes on yourself. We were at college, and you were in the same class as Theo. Talk to me about those earlier years in terms of your interest in sport, your studying of sport, and how you got into a little bit of coaching from the get-go.
Yeah, so from actually young, I've actually enjoyed doing sport. I'd never really had like a particular favourite sport growing up. It mostly became football, I think, when I got to the age of about 12, 13. So as I got into a teenager, I started enjoying playing football with my mates down at the park. And then again, for me, going into sport was a no-brainer. Before college, actually, I did sports science for GCSE. And then obviously, before I made the step to Stanmore, it wasn't actually my first choice. You'll be surprised.
What?
It was
supposed to tell me that.
It wasn't my first choice, but you know what? It was an experience that I will never forget. And if I didn't go to Stanmore, I would have met people like yourself, my best mate Theo, and also all the people that I'm involved with now in football. So I think going to Stanmore was the best choice I've ever made, and obviously met some great people there. Young Amoyy, 16, a bit immature, a bit funny, but do you know what? I would never change, to be fair. It's good to see that the way I've come far as a character, and how much I've learned as well. So, yeah, I think with me, in terms of if I've got any similarities from now to how I was back then, I'll say very passionate. I'm still very passionate, and always ambitious as well, and eager to learn new things as well. So I think that's why I can kind of compare myself to when I was younger.
To be fair, listening to that, I don't think you've ever explained yourself that well in terms of like your journey, and it just makes me smile because I've seen it like day in, day out, year after year with regards to your journey, and I probably agree. Like everything of your qualities is what has shaped you and made you the person and the man that you are today with regards to your impact and your influence and your passions and interests around what you're pursuing within education and also the coaching industry. So I have to pick your brains. Who was your first choice as college then, if it weren't Stanmore?
Oh, it was St. Charles.
Okay.
St. Charles in Labrador Grove, because obviously I grew up around that area. And I also went to school about 5 minutes away from there. So
Mm.
all of my mates were going there. Didn't want to leave them, but do you know what? I forgot who it was. It's actually a very funny story. I remember I think I was going to St. Hart's. Is it St. Hart's in Watford?
Yeah, yeah,
West Hart's.
yeah, West Harts.
And there was a cab driver, and he was obviously talking to me and my mum whilst we were on the way to the college, and he was saying, you know, you should really give Stanmore a go because my daughter went there. She's doing really good, and I was like, he could just be trying to
Yeah.
boost it up. But I was like, okay, cool, I'll give it a try. And then I went for induction at Stanmore, and it went really well. I enjoyed it. I liked the facilities. I liked the sports people there as well. The facilities were very good. So, again, I never look back and say I'll regret going to Stanmore because, again, it was probably the best thing that's happened to me.
That is an outstanding story. So
Yeah.
you're telling me an Uber driver
Yeah.
influenced your decision on the way to West Harts,
Yeah.
which is probably further away,
Yeah.
to go to Stanmore College because
Yeah.
of his daughter.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. And that's obviously shaped the
Mm.
person. Do you reckon, I'm just looking at it now, do you reckon if you didn't take that advice, your journey could be a lot different in terms of going down the coaching and sport pathway? Or was it always sport?
For me, it was always sport. But I feel like Stanmore also helped me more like within the football coaching criteria. I feel like that's something that I've always wanted. In terms of, I went on many work experiences back in high school, working within classrooms and obviously doing PE lessons with children, but then doing football coaching and teaching and giving all of those kids the knowledge to help them be better footballers and better characters. It was definitely the right choice for me. So I feel like if I maybe went to a different college, I think I probably would have went down a different route in sport. Maybe not particularly football, but maybe something else, maybe around the sports science route.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So you stepped into your college years and you said something interesting earlier about the maturity of you was still being developed. So tell me a little bit more of what was college life like in terms of your development. I believe that's the right time or the same time you met Theo,
Yeah.
which is obviously one of your closest pals now and are going on similar journeys within coaching and obviously have done amazing things at the club over the last 5, 6, 7 years. So what was that phase like between the 16 to 17, 18, 19 as you're going into your adulthood life in comparisons to, say, your childhood years? Like, was there a difference or did you see any transitions going on between those phases of your life?
So definitely I've seen some big transitions in terms of, I think I developed a better work ethic. And obviously at 16, 17, you're still kind of going through, you don't really know your purpose yet, but I felt as I went by and working with yourself and other people within the college, it really helped me develop a really good mindset in terms of what I wanted to do. And then obviously I remember when I think this is how me and Theo got really close, when I obviously saw him with the Hendon jackets and the Hendon jumpers, and I was like, oh, why are you wearing that? Like, how have you got links to Hendon? And he's like, through Barry. So obviously that's when I then asked you the question. And I think it was around the same time I was doing my level 1 as well, which was at SJP. But I think coming down to Hendon, getting like volunteering for like the first 8 months really helped. Obviously, I was looking at it, I was thinking, oh, am I going to get paid? Am I going to get paid? But you know what? Again, this is where I come in and say it helped me transition, because I saw it from a different mindset, because you realize as a coach, you need that experience. It's not about having a qualification. Yes, we can have qualifications, but again, the experience is so important, because for me, coaching is a job where you're always going to learn new things every single day.
Yeah.
No matter how experienced you are, no matter how many years you've done it, you're still going to learn more and more and more. So again, volunteering for those 8 months really humbled me, but also made me want to work really hard, because I then saw myself improve as a character, as a coach, and I kept pushing through. And obviously, working with people like you and John Creef really helped me out, because we're getting loads of feedback,
Yeah.
loads of feedback, which I think helps me. I'm someone who loves feedback. I love when you can come up to me and say, Amoy, you need to work on this and this and this, and then the next time I'll make sure that I'll do it. So I think it was a really good transition from me. And obviously I remember like 16, 17, I was a bit lazy, as most 16-year-olds are. But then waking up on the Saturday mornings, coming down to Hendon after college or on the day off, again, it gave me that purpose, and I started to want it more. So yeah.
Yeah, I love what you're saying, and honestly, we didn't rehearse this to say this, but I guess at that moment in time, it's quite pivotal because, correct me if I'm wrong, you're at college, you're amongst your peers,
Yeah.
you're seeing one of your mates in class obviously have a chance. Credit to yourself.
Yeah.
You see that, and then you go, I want a bit of that. So you've created your own opportunity by asking questions. And I love that when people get a little bit stuck at times because they don't know whether to ask the question or whether the question they're asking is the right question. But ultimately, if you ask a question, you go get noticed.
Yeah.
And then you go get like you said, you love feedback. So you're kind of self-aware and determined to go out and make your own opportunities. So when it came to you being told it's voluntary work, as that 16-year-old Amoy, all right, or most 16-year-olds, they don't value that at that moment in time. But now you can see the benefits of why, because of the experiences and the feedback and the development and purpose that you're kind of unraveling. How do we get back to those 16-year-olds or even earlier ages to say that that's the key thing? Or is it we need to give them some form of monies up front so that they're able to see some short-term value from their mindset? What's your perspective? Voluntary, paid, blended? What's the approach you take?
I think definitely there's got to be a voluntary in there. For me, it's key, because again, as much as you need help financially, at those ages, you want to start going and making money and working. I feel like the experience is so valuable in terms of you get to go into that area and you get to learn so much and build yourself up. So I think the voluntary aspect should never be taken out, in my own opinion, because I think it helps you as a character as well. Because, for example, where we have had some coaches in the past where obviously they don't value that aspect, you'll see that they'll go off and they won't do something within football or within coaching. So it just shows how bad you want it. So I feel like the voluntary aspect is more important, because we need to go out there and get that experience and say, you know what, from here, am I going to take it seriously? Is it what I want?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because again, the money is just a bonus on the side. When you're actually out there and you're coaching and you're happy and you're smiling and you're making the kids happy, again, that's where it's most important for me. That's what we come back as coaches from, and we think about. Like, for example, I could go to a session, coach a session. If I know that I've made every single individual happy in that session and it's all suited them and they've liked it, then I can go away from that session and be proud of myself. Whereas if I go in, I'm lazy, I don't really care, and I still get paid from it, I'm not really feeling a value. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. I was going to be devil's advocate. That proposition for someone who's been offered voluntary work of coaching, that might not be their like intrinsic motive, but they've been offered that something. But then maybe it's in another industry, say if it's in music or creative work or just even like, I don't know, architecture or crafts. Like, I'm just thinking outside the box here. But ultimately, I feel the message you're saying is that voluntary work puts the individual profile showing that they want it more than just a monetary gain. And as you're saying, that purpose of you building your skill set, building your impact in and around your work, it's just go build a better profile for the person so that they go be spoken about and given those opportunities elsewhere. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do, is develop people so that they can impact in their own little influence of the world as well. Brilliant. I love what you're saying so far. Let's try and get onto a bit of script here. So We're looking at the club, and there's lots of things going on. What initially attracted you? Yes, you got the opportunity to go and coach, but what's allowed you to continue staying at the club? What's your involvement like? Where are you right now with the different roles that you have?
Yeah, so I think the club has helped me alongside with my coaching again to go out there and get valuable experience. So one valuable experience that I really got was working behind the bar, doing shifts at the club. Because even though I was volunteering at the time at HYA, I was still getting an opportunity to get paid at the same place and
Mm,
still kind of meet the community, get to
mm,
know more and more people. Yeah, and then obviously, a big experience for me was obviously going in and coaching within the teams, which I think I got a really good opportunity with obviously Theo,
mm.
where he obviously had his I think at that year group they were under nines. I think they
Yeah.
were under nines, and he asked me if I would come in, and I said yeah, definitely.
Mm,
We started working together, and obviously he was manager,
yeah.
coach, and obviously I was coach and assistant. And again, it was so valuable because even though we're similar in ages, I could just look up to him and say, you know what, he's a role model.
Yeah.
This is how it should be done. And again, his ambition,
Mm,
um, even being down the sidelines during the matches and when we're coaching as well, like you seen how passionate he was and seeing how much he valued it really made me look up and say, you know what, this is what I also want as well.
mm.
So I feel like even though it's a big word, but I would say that he's kind of been like a inspiration to me because again, without him, I probably wouldn't be pushing on with my coaching.
Mm.
But yeah, it was really good. And then I think 2 years or a year and a half later, I then saw the under 15s team
Yeah.
for Hendon, one of the youth teams. They obviously needed a coach, which I then obviously said to Theo, look, do you think this is the right opportunity for me? He said, yeah, go in.
Mm.
And he supported me and he said, yeah, it's the right thing for you. I think it's time for you to go in now and manage because you've done it, you've helped me out with it, and you're ready to push on.
Mm.
So again, I was able to then take up that team, and then obviously I was with them for 3 years. So from under 15s, under 16s, and then under 17s, and then yeah, and then we've just finished the season.
Wow, that's a lot, a
Yeah,
lot of work and exposure to yourself, building that profile, which is brilliant.
yeah,
Creating your own opportunities, getting your own experiences. So lots there to unpack. And I'm looking at the first thing. So you've come in initially with HYA doing some voluntary
mm,
work, and we're kind of progressing that nicely
yeah,
along the way. So age-wise, still at college at this point.
yeah.
Yeah,
Still
yeah.
at college.
Then you get an opportunity to do something completely different.
Mm,
And credit to yourself, you don't say because I just want to do plan A of coaching. You open yourself up to other possibilities, which is working at the club in terms of kind of customer service, isn't it? If you're working
yeah,
behind a bar or doing all of the kind of shift work that SJP offer people. When you're seeing that role and then going back into your coaching as well, what skills do you reckon you're developing? What skills are being unlocked, or is there any skills that you're seeing that's beneficial or holding you back because you're being spread in different directions? What's your views?
yeah. So with the shift work at SJP, I think really helped me become more responsible. As you know, that when you're locking up, when you're working, you're in charge basically of the
Mm,
club for that day on that shift. You got to make sure everything's put in place, everything's safe. So I think a responsibility it made me very responsible.
mm.
Um,
Did you like it? Like
yeah,
that
I
responsibility that
enjoyed it.
early?
Yeah, because I always enjoy challenges. So I'd say yeah. And then also again work ethic, knowing that you can't obviously be lazy. You got to go out there. You got to work. So yeah, I think that's another thing that really helped. And then again, being organized, making sure I was able to um, get from whether it was college to SJP or from home to SJP on time,
Mm,
and then obviously making sure the club's locked up in time as well.
yeah.
Everything's in order. So I think those two things, being responsible, um, and obviously being organized, and then also you could say having a work ethic as well,
Yeah.
was really really important for me.
What about just the interactions with people? Because I guess with coaching, you're predominantly working with young people or
Yeah.
children. However, then you flip it, and at SJP, you're doing, yeah, you might be interacting with young people and children, but also adults as well.
Yeah.
So did you find that kind of a challenge, or was that an exciting thing when you're building those relationships, even if you are just serving, like you said, serving someone behind a bar,
Yeah.
but those soft skills of smiling or being attentive or listening in to people's discussions, do you see any correlation of how that would have helped you in your coaching in
Yeah.
terms of your listening skills and building relationships?
Definitely. I think one thing with me when I was younger, I think, is I used to kind of struggle to kind of speak up. Always used to be quiet. And again, I think that obviously working and doing those shifts, it helped me kind of be a bit more open to speak up to people a bit more, have those conversations, and be able to turn myself from I was a introvert maybe now to people come to me and say there's no way you were an introvert. I was like, yeah, there was a time back then where I was quiet, never really used to speak to anyone. But again, even like behind the bar when we used to crack a few jokes, it was good for me. And again, it really helped me come far. And then if you relate that to the coaching as well, you got to be able to speak to the kids. You got to give them a help them like within their football, but not only that, be able to understand them as well and listen to them. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
So I would say, yeah.
That's brilliant. Now, the other thing I'd love to discuss a bit more is you went from assisting with Theo and his under nines at the time?
Yeah.
So that's your primary school, which we call foundation phase in football language. Then you transition quite quickly up the age groups to under 15s.
Yeah.
Now you're working with almost the top end of a high school kid, so year 10 in the youth development phase. Tell me about that transition for yourself. Like, did you obviously relish the opportunity to coach? Was there any challenges along the way, or was it always plain sailing that everything was like whatever you expected, everything materialized in reality?
Yeah, so a lot actually changed because obviously when you make the jump from being a coach / assistant to then going and managing a team and doing that, I think, again, is a big difference. Again, we spoke about responsibility, so there's a lot of stuff I had to be responsible for, i.e. the boys that I was coaching from under 15s. And then again, you had to deal with many different stuff. So one big thing I had to deal with at the time was the mentality of the squad, the mindset. So obviously at that age, they just want to play football with their mates. They don't really see it as anything serious. But for me as a young coach who's so passionate to try and make it to the top, it was about trying to transition that mindset and help them and give them a purpose within football and not just come to training to play with their mates and play matches. It was about them being able to take something away from the coaching I was giving them. So again, that was a big thing. So I'll maybe say, I think maybe from under 16s, we had it locked in, the mentality shifted so much. And again, that comes with obviously bringing in new players, again, bringing in some more coaches to support you as well. So I think, yeah, it really changed. And then again, I was then obviously given the role of doing everything. So
How was that?
It was a big change for me. There was a lot of stuff that I got wrong. A lot of people I didn't make happy at the time. But again, we learned from it.
Give me an example. What was the, I guess these are the non-coaching responsibilities. Yeah. So talk us through, for anyone listening in, what do you have to do that you're not realising when you initially sign up as a coach or a manager that you have to now actually do in reality of being a coach, like the lead coach or manager?
Yeah, so one thing you got to do is make the boys happy, but also make the parents happy as well. You've got to try and balance the two.
Is that realistic to keep everyone happy?
No, it's not realistic, but you got to try your best to try and balance it a bit, where obviously you're coaching the boys and you're giving them that experience, but then at the same time the parents can see what you're trying to do and see what you're trying to build. And at the start, everyone was probably thinking, this guy, he's a young boy, he doesn't really know much, why is he doing all of this, why is he trying so hard? But again, when those results came, when we started winning more games, when the boys started taking it seriously, then the parents could actually see, you know what, this coach, he actually means something. He wants the best for them, which is obviously for what I want. As much as I want the best for myself, the players always come first too. I really think it's about that. But then dealing with stuff like, for example, on a match day, for example, if like their son wasn't given enough game time, I would have to be able to come out and explain to them why.
Right.
First couple of times, I obviously got away with it, but then more and more as I did it, then obviously you get the messages, you get parents coming up to you, confronting you. But again, it's about how you communicate with them, how you speak to them, because even though you might not be happy about it, you've got to know how to deal with it in the right way.
Yeah.
And I think football is really good in terms of it helps you become more professional.
Right.
So in terms of saying, no, your son's not good enough, he's not able to do this, he's not able to do that, it's do you know what, how can I help him get better? Maybe I need to squeeze him in, give him 15 minutes, 20 minutes here and there. When I start to see that he starts to listen in training, and when he becomes more hungry and he wants to give me 100%, then the game time will start to come along the way. So that's
outstanding.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, how did you get to switch it? Because it's the easiest thing to do is they're not good enough. Like in your mind, it's like, and so, whether it goes, create the accountability factor in here. It could be that they're just not committed, not good enough, right? Not showing right their true potential in the opportunities you give.
Yeah.
But why flip it and create we need to develop them even further approach? Like, we want to support them. Where did you come from that kind of thinking? Or was that just because of everything was coming in your direction of why this, why that? Like, why is my boy not getting the minutes he deserves? And then over a time, with that frustration, you're like, I need to help these problems and these conversations, as opposed to just keep arguing and not get further with the relationships of the players and parents. So where did you get that from?
So I think for me, what really helped me was the commitment. I think the parents saw the commitment and the boys saw it as well, because first season I had with them, they lost about 3 or 4 key players.
Yeah.
Which were really key to helping them. I think they won the league the season before, and after they win the league, they move up to a different division the next season. And again, it was very difficult because those players that helped them transition and win the league then obviously left. And then obviously we went into that first season where before I came in, they said they didn't win their first 6 games. They lost all of their games. And for me, it was, even though it was a big challenge to take up, I didn't give up. We actually didn't win a game that season. We got, I think, in the last 10 games that maybe had with them, we got about 3 draws and 7 losses. But again, what the parents saw was that I was so committed. I wouldn't give up. I would keep working. And I think that was probably the fear factor for them at the start, maybe thinking he's coming in, he's so passionate and he's so hungry, but does he not realise that we haven't got the squad for it? We haven't got the mindset to push. But I'm like, you know what? If I can go out there and at least give them something to take from it, that's the most important thing for me. So even though we were losing and drawing games, one thing that really helped was that we were starting to have an identity of how we were playing. I wanted them to keep the ball, pass the ball around. I think nearly every session we had was about possession. And we obviously speak about this where we say if something doesn't work, it's not about just giving it up. It's about continuing and seeing progress and keep on building on that. And we did. And obviously, I think one of the big eye-openers was when we had a game against top of the league, Belmont Bees, and they won every single game. We were obviously bottom of the league. And I think we had 2 key players out. We were playing at home. And I spoke to the boys before the game. I told them this is what I expect. I said the result's not the most important thing. It's about the performance. And they went out there, they gave me 100%. And we ended up coming away from that game with a 1-1 draw against the best team in the league. So for me, it was such a big eye-opener. All the parents were shocked. The players were so happy coming from that. And again, that was towards the end of the season. And they saw that as a thing where, do you know what, we can actually see what he's trying to build. The players can even though we might not see it as parents, the players can see it. They can see the commitment. So basically, they're in his hands now. So that's how it kind of was for me.
That's incredible. So,
Yeah.
and that still was in the first season?
Yeah, that was the first season.
So you've got so much going against you.
Yeah.
And you're just so dogged to like persevere and show the commitment and show the belief. So you're ultimately saying to this group of players that have underperformed for a long period of time, that probably have no belief within their performances, let alone get results, that you'll go stick with them through the thick and obviously through better times, but this time was through the thick. And you've shifted their, like you said earlier, mindset towards the results will be the results. Forget that.
Yeah.
It's about your performance.
Yeah.
Where has that thinking come from with regards to just control what you can control, which is your performance as an individual, but also as a team as well? Because ultimately, people just judge you on results.
Yeah.
And like you said, if you're saying that you've had X amount of losses before that, people may be thinking, is Amoyy the right person if we're just looking at football ability? But from a non-football ability, the development you're instilling into these young people, but also for the parents to be watching from the outside, is probably the X factor you have. So where is this thinking towards development, performance, and the results will look after itself later on? Where has that come from in your mindset initially?
I think it's about me being ambitious and having a passion and saying to the boys, look, no matter how many games we lose, no matter how many goals we concede, I still want you to give me 100%. Once you give me 100%, then I can't complain. And I think that's where it is for me. That's what I kind of live by as well. If I know I'm giving 100% to something and I'm trying my best, then I've got no excuse. Do you know what I mean? So it was the same thing for the boys. And again, if we want to make the transition now into the second season, it completely changed. We obviously had players looking in and said, you know what, this team might not have won a game, but we can see that their coach is very passionate. There's obviously an A and B team at Hendon, and obviously we were the B team, and they had the A team, which had the best players, and they were doing really well in their league. But some of their players even looked at me and said, you know what, you're a really passionate coach, and we can see that. So I managed to get in a few players for the under-16 season.
From that team, from the A team?
So I got one player from their team, and after that season, they actually folded the A team, so we became the new A team.
Right.
And then along with that, I brought in a couple of recruitments. I brought in 2 players from HYA, and then I brought in another 4 players, because obviously, you know, the boys have friends of friends. They say, come and join my team. We're trying to build a really good team, so come and join us.
Did that become a challenge when, obviously it's nice when you've got the initial person or player that you're trying to get onto the team, but if they're bringing friends of friends, is that a bit of a lottery where some are good, some aren't good? Like, does that become a bigger issue later on, or is it more we'll just roll the dice and see what comes about?
Yeah, so obviously we kind of set up some like trials and training sessions, and one thing with me is I'll never say I've just got my team, I don't want anyone else. I always give players opportunities. So we had a good amount of players come in that actually wanted to join the team and wanted to give themselves a go. So I then selected I think 6 of them. At the end
Out of how many
August.
roughly?
Out of, I think, about maybe 12 of them wanted to join.
Okay, it's about half, yeah.
Yeah. So half and half. And it was really good because even though they were coming in from a friend, they still wanted to give 100%. They still knew what they were coming back from a season where we didn't win a game. And what I adored was the mindset from them, which is one thing that I was always trying to chase from that team, is to have a good mindset.
Yeah.
So for them to come in and say, yes, they haven't won a game, but I'm still going to come in and give the coach and give the team 100%. That's something that I value more than the feat.
Because it's elevating team performance, regardless of what, like you said, the result is or what they're doing technically on the pitch. It's that aura or energy that you're harping on about and chipping away at. That's if we get this right, other things will then fall into place. Is that what you're alluding to? Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really positive going into that second season. And I think for me, again for the parents as well, was we had I set up a few friendlies going into the new season, and I think we won about four games out of about seven, so nearly half. And obviously the other games, some of the games we struggled, and maybe we didn't have the performances and the result that we wanted. But again, it was all about learning for them from those friendlies. So they went into the new season confident, positive, got all of that pre-season time to train, build chemistry with each other. We actually went into the season winning our first game, 3-1 against Foxes.
Yeah.
And it was such a big eye opener because the season before we played them twice in a cup, and we lost to them both times. I think we lost to them 2-0 the first time, then we lost to them 2-1, and then in the new season we beat them 3-1. So it was such a big eye opener, and then that season was really positive because even though we were winning games, the boys were still coming to training. They were developing, giving me 100%. And then I was also to obviously get other coaches to come in and support them, which is, again, not just key for them, key for me as well. Because I always like to take a step back, see their kind of ideas and see how it kind of plays up. But yeah.
So I'm looking, you just said a key couple things earlier about the transition of players, and players always want, as coaches and players, want to aspire to their next level of growth. When those players are not necessarily ready for their next level, what are we doing in terms of those players? Because we have lots of players that are missed out of their chance, but it might be just down to wrong timing. It might be down to just needing, like you said, tweaking a few things in terms of their development. Where is their football development going to happen? Do you just say, wish you all the best, or that's, and then come back to me, reach out to me another time? Or at the club, I'm just tying it in with HYA. We've got a number of players that are desperate to want to play into the teams. Now, for reasons of either availability, meaning there's no spaces available in the teams, we say that quite open and honest to the players and also to the parents as well, that we can't promise and guarantee, but we've got the pathways there. We've got the pathways into the mini leagues. We've got pathways or connections into other external clubs, but a lot of players and families like our environment and want to stay with us.
Yeah.
Is what we're doing with regards to the HYA and the H youth setup kind of the right formula, that you see that if a player's not ready, they've still got their training and the eyes watching in terms of their progression into teams at a later stage? Or should we be pushing them into other pathways of football?
I think you could kind of say both. I think they always deserve the opportunity. So one thing I've always tried to do, and I've seen some good coaches do the same thing at the club, was give the players the opportunity to come down and train for a period of time, just to get a feel of the team and to help themselves as well. Because even though that you've got your tactics going into the Sunday's game, you still want to help them be better technically and obviously mentally as well. So I think giving them the opportunity to come down to train with the teams should be a reward. That should be something that they should look forward to. But then I also think that there's also something we can always do to help them, because again, there's going to be teams that are going to be full. Obviously, you might have a coach that's already got his squad together or have had his squad for a long period of time. So I think maybe saying to them, okay, cool, we might not be able to give you a place here, but we know this place over here has got players, that are looking for players. So I feel like even though we want to take credit from it as a club, we should always try to go and push them on somewhere else if we can't give them the opportunity, which is how it is in the football world. It's harsh if you don't make it at this club or you struggle somewhere else as a coach. You've got to move on. So again, devil's advocate, say if that family or parent, because it's on their doorstep of not just our place but wherever, maybe it's down in South London, East London, West London, wherever, they're not getting a direct chance into the team, but they're persevering by just staying around and being noticeable. Are they qualities you're looking for in terms of what you're saying, the perseverance, determination, and
the mindset of never giving up,
Yeah.
that eventually with the psychological, they're able to develop the technical and the physical that are probably shortchanging them into the team, because that's not necessarily their X factor, but their mindset is. Would you say still explore elsewhere, or just stay where they are, because they've got this innate like never give up mentality? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I do feel for the players. Again, if they want to make it into that environment, they have to also take it in a way where it's not going to be given to us. So if they're coming into our environment as coaches, we also have to be honest with them and tell them what we expect. So if you're going to come and train with us for this amount of sessions, or for these couple months, you got to make sure that, one, you're giving 100%. And obviously that's something that goes over everyone's head. But when you're giving 100%, you've got the coach.
Can you see it? Can you actually see when someone is giving, I don't know, 90%? I know these numbers could always be opinionated, but say someone you've seen give 100% a week prior, and then they're giving less. Are you making them accountable and either having a quiet word in their ear, or shouting it in front of the group? But you see these things, and they're the non-negotiables in the environment that you're setting.
Yeah, so there was obviously players that I had where I knew if they were giving me 100%, I would know that they would be at this certain level. And I knew if they were giving me any less than that, I could kind of tell the difference. So again, not being able to shout it out in front of the group to kind of make a statement, but also speaking to them on a one-to-one basis where they can kind of trust you. And again, you pull them to the side and speak to them about it. They say, okay, he actually values me as a player, and he knows that when I give him 100%, that he can see it. So I think it's about, again, pulling them up, speaking to them on a one-to-one basis, because for me, it doesn't have to be something that the crowd needs to see.
Yeah.
You should be able to just dissect it, speak to them on a one-to-one basis, and again, give them the best feedback that you can.
Brilliant. I'll tell you what, from what I'm hearing and learning from yourself, the players, parents that work with you directly, I can tell there's that sense of energy, purpose, and drive to always strive forward. And like I said, those, whether it's individual chats or small group chats or team chats, they're always go get 100% from your passion towards the game, which is really infectious. Like, I think there's lots of people wanting to know how do you become that energized, and I guess that comes, is that a childhood thing of you seeing football, the aspirations and the dreams of going as high as you can, seeing obviously the Premier League and the Champions League and the World Cups, and going, there's always more levels to aspire to. And that's in your day-to-day work of trying to lift everyone up to their next level of growth.
But also, I think from my background as well, obviously seeing how my mum came to the country at a young age, and she did everything for us. So again, she's basically given us a better life. So I've got to do everything to make sure that basically I can make her proud and make her say, you know what, he gave 100% in life, and he pushed and he went for all of his dreams and aspirations.
100%. I can see it in your family. Like, I've never met the lady, but I'm sure we'll meet at some point. But seeing how your work ethic is, I know that's come from family values. We'll talk in a sec about your younger brother as well, and his involvement in the club, and same qualities as well. So that's not just by coincidence or luck. It's culture of what you've seen, like you said, with your family, maybe through the struggles, and just not accepting that circumstances your definitive moment. It's going to be something to inspire you to push on further. So let's talk a little bit about family upbringing. So family dynamics is mum, younger brother, any other siblings? No. So bigger brother. Obviously, you used the word responsibility. We've got Jamar at the club as well, which is obviously Amoyy's younger brother. And when he's got involved in the club, he was coming in as a maybe 11, 12-year-old at the time, or younger?
13.
Was he 13? 13. So he must have been really excited to see that you're involved at the club as bigger brother. tell me what his journey, and I know we can dissect it a little bit more deep, but if you just summarise what's his experience of the club been like, knowing that he's seen older brother go through the steps before him.
Yeah, I think for him, he's kind of taken a look at how the club has helped me achieve so much and helped me grow as a person, and he also values that because he even used to attend HYA sessions when he was 13, 12. So I think for him, he really valued that, and he said, you know what, there is a pathway at HYA, and with the club and HYA giving him that platform to obviously train, still play football, I think then he saw an opportunity to become a coach and maybe go up the ladder. And again, he's relished the opportunity, but then he's also got loads of good people that he can also learn off as well. So I feel like coming into the environment, it wasn't really something new for him. He obviously was given a new role, but same faces, same people.
That's from player to coach, like,
Yeah.
He's done unbelievable. I can't believe he's 17, right?
Yeah, 17.
He's like a 27-year-old, or like so seasoned in his first like proper year at giving it a go, and feels so comfortable, which could be a bad thing if they're comfortable. But no, he's just relished every opportunity and just blown it out of the park with regards to how he interacts with the children, his energy, his mannerisms, to listen and be humbled and want to learn and be just a sponge with information, like soaking it all up. So I guess mum's happy that both her sons have gone into this environment and seen the benefits, because you're starting to see the impact you're having with the young people and players that you're working with day in, day out, right?
Yeah, I think he's definitely relished the opportunity, and it's given a platform for him to obviously he can still be himself. He still feels comfortable. Obviously, when we talk about me being an introvert, he's completely the opposite. He likes to go out and express himself, and when he's coaching you, you always see that he's not scared to be the loudest one on the pitch, not because he wants to show off, but because it's how he naturally is. And
passion.
Yeah, and it's how he is. So I feel like he's seen how HYA has helped him become a good character, but also still be able to be himself. Yeah.
And these skills are like transferable. So we're talking about in a sec your day-to-day job, being a teacher at school.
Yeah.
But I guess the environments, whether it's coaching directly, assisting, or just observing, like initially people get kind of this apprehension towards, oh no, I'm not a coach, I don't know anything about football. And we're just like, just watch. You don't have to do anything, just go watch and see, right, what it's like. Because I guess that was like your first day and my first day of coaching. It was like, I can't do this, it's too difficult. But if we just give ourselves a bit of time and patience and just observe the other coaches in practice, like you had John or Greg and Shane to observe, and Theo and myself, that gave you that time and transition to go, I could do that. And then you just play with it. So I guess with Jamar and young people, it's like, take these skills, take these qualities, because they are within them, and then they can do whatever they wish afterwards. Because you said about responsibility, organisation, even just communication. You're saying about talking to parents and talking to players. There's different levels and tones and ways to interact with people. So they're all transferable. So let's talk about day-to-day work. You've been teaching for a number of years now, haven't you?
Yeah, so I've been there since November 2022.
2022.
Yeah.
So about 3 years.
Yeah.
Coming up to 3 years.
Coming up to 3 years.
And this is now kind of coincides with coaching, where you're doing your teaching role at primary school. The role is PE.
Yeah.
So tell me or walk me through what's the similarities, and if there is any differences within the coaching hat you wear as well as your teaching hat.
Yeah, so I think the similarities are that, again, you're still working with young people, you're still working with kids, and the main thing that you're trying to get away from those PE sessions or those lessons is to make every participant come away from it learning something and feeling happy about it and seeing a development. So I think that's where it's kind of the same. And also, I feel like you still got the mixed range of abilities like you have at a HYA or a different football place or whatever. So I feel like you're still able to go out there and coach and give them so much knowledge and help them along the way.
Yeah.
Differences, obviously, it's different settings. So there might be times where I might have to cover a lesson. I might be in a classroom. I might be supporting a teacher. And then again, probably the range of different activities you have to do. So obviously, just doing football at HYA, but then in a school, you've got to do different stuff throughout the curriculum, like basketball, hockey, athletics. So
it's stretching you in terms of your delivery towards, right, I've got all of this football experience and knowledge.
Yeah.
Now I've got to learn netball, or now I've got to learn handball rules, right? How did you find out in terms of being thrown all of these different curriculum activities or subjects, and it's like, Amoyy, off you go deliver?
Yeah, so I feel like in my first year it was really good because I had a very good mentor with me and she helped me so much. Her name was Maya. She's obviously working somewhere else, but she obviously helped me out with the different range of activities that you had to do, how to work with the kids. So I feel like she really helped me a lot. But then again, one thing she really taught me is how to build a relationship with the staff and the pupils, and you've got to kind of change your mindset. You've got to come out your comfort zone, speak to different people. And again, like, even though you're a PE teacher and you've got to be the role model to a kids, you still kind of got to be a kid yourself. Do you know what I mean? You still got to smile every time you see them. You still got to make everything fun. So you could also say that links to coaching at HYA. So again, becoming a kid, and again, making those sessions engaging for them, because you don't want to have a session where you've got maybe half of the class with you and then the other class somewhere else. So
that's a good point that you make, because say someone's listening in and going through those battles of either in the classroom, and I think I said this to Theo on his episode, you've got a group that are really into what you're doing. Then you've got maybe a few or half the group or majority of the group not conforming, not listening. All right. How do you battle with the ones engaged versus the ones that are maybe disengaged?
So even though they might be disengaged, every child has got different interests. They enjoy different stuff. So I think the best thing for you to do is go out there and listen to them and see what they want. Speak to them, say maybe, what do you want to do? What game do you want to play? But you still got to try and link it to what you want to do. So, for example, you might got a kid that doesn't want to play basketball but loves to go in the jungle gym and have some free time. So you might have to maybe negotiate and say, you know what, if you do really well in basketball, I might give you 10 or 15 minutes on the jungle gym towards the end of the PE lesson. So you kind of got to learn to build a relationship, see what the kids want, speak to them and understand. Because for me, it's never a thing where you just go out there and they've got to do everything you got to say. You got to be flexible and understanding as well. So I feel like it's really good. In a primary school setting.
Such a key point with the flexibility approach, because it shouldn't be just what we want as the focal point of the teacher or the coach. The kids, right, or the group of individuals we're working with, we've got to listen in, and you said that key word, to know where they are in their journey, and if they want to play on the jungle gym, you don't give them all of the lesson there, but you make that compromise, that negotiation to see where the kind of balance is. And balance is, I've said before, could be out of balance, but give and take is kind of what relationship is, right? Brilliant. So when we're going through the challenges of school, what do you see day to day as like oh my God, is it learning, or being told you have to be in the classroom and you have to take a different subject that's out your comfort zone? Is it dealing with a set of parents that may be questioning why their child is upset? Like, what are the challenges of a day to day?
I think the challenges are in the school. I feel like it's maybe not every single session is going to be perfect. Not every lesson is going to be perfect. You might not have good numbers. Again, for us, one thing in the school that we're trying to improve is probably the PE facilities indoor. Obviously, we've got lovely facilities outside in the school. We've got two really big fields, lovely cages and playgrounds, but then being flexible in terms of if it's raining, if the weather's really cold, what can we do to change it? So um, I would say it could be a challenge, but being able to adapt and be flexible. So when it's raining outside, maybe we take them in the classroom, and maybe do some yoga, some dance, make it a bit fun for them. Um, but then again, making sure that the lesson fits everyone.
That's
So
it.
one big thing that I really like about the school is that we've obviously got mainstream, but then we've also got the provision for the kids that have obviously got SEN. And I think it was a big challenge for me at the start because I was kind of thinking, how do I integrate them?
SEN, special educational needs.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think it was about how do we integrate them into the sessions and how do we make everything appropriate to them. And again, just like I said, it's about building relationships. Speak to the child, see what they want, see what they like, and then you can kind of build from there. And then it'll just all come naturally once you build that relationship, once you see what they don't and what they do like. So yeah, I feel like those were the challenges.
I love what you just said there about, because the whole concept of adults, children with special educational needs or disabilities, is that it's easy to identify their label towards something,
Yeah.
but you normalize it in the sense of, right, just go listen to them. What do they want, right? What's their perspective of the activity? Because am I right to think when you deliver the activity, the next step is to get a bit of ground and understanding of who's needing a little bit more attention and support?
Yeah.
Would that be one of your go-to tactics when it comes to how you personalize your teaching style, so that, say, that task that you've given out to the whole group, you go and dissect and work the room in terms of asking questions, how they've understood that task?
Yeah.
And like you said, it's trying to figure out whether some of them want to do the task or understand what the task is. And like, is that going to be the challenges for most teachers or people working with special educational needs, is just getting to know the person and what do they want and what do they need, and also giving them a little bit of like deeper thought and stretching their thinking.
Yeah, so I feel like in the school we've got really good resources in terms of at the start of the academic year, those children will have pen portraits in terms of a bit about themselves and what they like, what they don't like, what they're able to do and not what they're not able to do. So I feel like it's good because that we get access as teachers to kind of see how we can go in and support them.
Yeah.
Obviously, they will have the one-to-one support that will come out with them. So that is a really big help factor.
Yeah.
And then those one-to-one support teachers, they don't just support that child, they will also come and help and support the lesson and become kind of an assistant. So it's good when you kind of build those relationships with the other staff members to then come into one and deliver those sessions which the kids could obviously enjoy and be engaged with.
Really critical that you're saying it's a team effort. Like you said, LSAs, learning support assistants, are able to come in and understand what the lesson is, but then go and support their individual learner. And ultimately, we're working as a team, and we've got to listen, we've got to understand, and just learn and grow. That someone may achieve that amount in a lesson, someone might achieve this amount of a lesson, someone might achieve this, and someone might just stay there or even regress. And in that regression, do you see, so for example, in my experience, if someone was here and they started to dip, but in your teaching style over a number of weeks or lessons you have with them, they improve slightly but wasn't at their baseline, do you see that as success? Do you see where I'm coming from? Like they've taken 3 steps back, they're taking a step forward again, but they're still not where they were beforehand.
Yeah.
Like, what do you see as progress for a child in the classroom or a player on the football pitch?
I think, especially in the primary school, I think it's about them doing it step by step. So again, even if they started off at here and take 3 steps down, as long as there's an improvement and they've stepped up from what they were at last, I feel like that's a big thing for me. And once you highlight that improvement to them and make it and you make them aware of it, then it will keep on going, and then suddenly they're from here, then they go up, then they go up, then they go up.
But it can go down at the
Yeah.
same time, and you're okay at
Yeah.
times as long as the conversation and communication.
Yeah. And that's how it is, to be fair. And it's not just the same with it's not just with the kids. It's even in PE lessons. There might be PE lessons up here. There might be some down here. But it's again, how can I build myself back up to make sure that it goes up and it keeps on going up, and then if it goes down again, what can I do to bring it back up?
Love it. Honestly, I think people like yourself, Amoyy, you can just tell in your energy, and I've said it before, your aura, your passion, your burning desire is to go out and make positive impact on people, and it becomes infectious, because regardless whether we're here or here or here, just that constant, like, I'm going to be working and building my profile day in, day out to develop myself, but develop the people I'm working with, adults and children included. It becomes then a part of who you are.
Yeah.
And people then start to go, oh, have you seen Amoyy's work, like what he's doing on the football pitch with his team, or with the children with SEN in the classroom?
Yeah.
It just builds a greater profile. My question is, what is the future looking like? What would you like, both in the football world or in the education world? What would you like to see you become?
Yeah, so I think in terms of football, want to be managing a men's team ideally in the future. So it's about what am I doing now to kind of get myself to that level, and making sure that I build myself up and keep on getting that experience. And then within the school, obviously looking to be at the top in terms of PE, and maybe being a PE coordinator, which is something I'm looking to do in the future as well. But I think if I could only choose one, it would obviously be a manager at a football club for a men's team.
Yeah. Progression steps. What's that looking like? So you're currently, did you say you finished with the team there?
Yeah.
Are you looking for that age group, younger age group? What's the next initial step?
So one thing I'm actually doing now is I'm in talks to take over an under-18s team.
Okay.
Which is heading in the right direction. I think that's really important for me to just kind of get experience, even though I want to be coaching men's, but I still got to get experience with coaching younger adults, which is really important. And I feel like that's probably like the foundation to men's football, is working with those under 18s.
And I guess it's not definitive as well. You could be doing some, like you're doing with your coaching and your teaching, you're doing it as one. So your teaching is your sort of 9 to 3 role, and then your evenings, weekends is all your coaching. So I guess the experiences of working with this age group and this age group and that age group and that age group, it all blends in for the bigger profile of working grassroots, working into professional settings, and then into senior level as well. Brilliant. So now, just as we're kind of wrapping up, is there any questions or discussions that we haven't mentioned or highlighted?
Not, I think we've covered everything, but just to add on to what I'm going to be doing next season as well, is obviously I'm going to be getting out under 18s team, but I'm going to be working with a younger team, under 10s for next season as well. And I think for me, it was a thing where I was thinking at the start, could I juggle both? But I think for me, I've seen it work for other coaches, and I know that, again, I can balance the two, and it would be good for me with my coaching, because for me, kind of similar to Theo, where we can't just sit at home all day.
No, I can't see that.
We can't just have a rest. We have to be doing something. It's what keeps us going. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like, having 2 teams for me next season would be ideal. And obviously I'm then still able to learn a lot as well. Yeah.
No, listen, I can't imagine you and Theo sitting at home and having an empty schedule of a weekend any time in the next, 5, 10 plus years. So, no, brilliant. So just to wrap up, we've got a few quick fire questions just to learn a little bit more, or the audience to learn a little bit more about yourself. So, favourite footballer?
Favourite footballer has to be N'Golo Kante.
Kante, yeah.
It was Drogba, but then just watching Kante week in, week out, and just seeing how such a small player could cover every single blade of grass, but be so good and so world class. Um, again, looking at him, I think that's probably my favourite position, playing defensive midfield. So I think watching a player like him, definitely an inspiration.
And I guess the mindset as well.
Yeah,
Just so humbled.
yeah,
Of course, made it to the top, but
Yeah.
just lives life so simple.
exactly.
And that's an great answer. I love Kante. I thought, imagine trying to run against him.
Nah,
No chance. Best match you've seen or been part of?
Best match that I've seen. I didn't go watch it live. I was watching it on telly. Has to be Ajax versus Chelsea, 4-4. I think we were like 4-0 down. We came back to make it 4-4. It was such a good game. Such a good game. It was Champions League. I think it was group stages as well.
Yeah. I love those high scoring games, especially at the Champions League level, because you're just like, quality doesn't usually make too many errors, but when you go a goal feast like that, it was unreal.
Yeah.
Right, this might be a challenge. Well, it could be a funny one. Well, it is a funny question. Funniest coaching moment in your journey so far? Have you got a few?
There's maybe a few.
Yeah.
Just trying to think on the top of my head just to pick one. I probably think when it's so hard. I think there was a time where we played a match with the kids, and I remember this is when I think I was on one team, Theo was on one team, and I think Jack was a part of it as well.
Right.
And I think I was 1-on-1 through goal, and I had literally an open goal, and I blasted it over. I think that's one. Yeah, I think that's one of them. It just went straight over the bar, and I wanted to score it so much. Inside, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I've missed this."
Oh,
And
the
everyone
boys
was
must have
laughing.
been ripping you, yeah?
Yeah, I was getting ripped for it. Yeah.
Love that. Dream stadium to visit or like go to a game?
Probably for me, it'll be the Bernabeu.
Bernabeu.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially with the refurb it's done.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be beautiful to see, right?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Just even going there to watch a game, like seeing it on telly is one thing, but then going in real
Going
life.
there. Yeah, the atmosphere was unreal there. I don't know if this will relate, but we'll extend it to other drinks. Tea or coffee?
Has to be coffee.
Coffee, yeah?
Coffee, yeah. I was a tea person kind of growing up, but then when I got to the age of maybe 18, when I obviously started working in the mornings, getting that coffee in, it will just work wonders, honestly.
Yeah,
So,
those
coffee.
early starts, right?
Yeah.
So, brilliant. Thank you so much, Amoyy. Been an absolute pleasure for spending some time with us, getting to learn a little bit more, and just understanding a bit more of your coaching journey. We'd love to have you back to see how you're getting on juggling the teams, but also seeing what the education side of it looks like as well. But I genuinely believe that with the impact and passion and purpose you're pursuing and shown over the last number of years, people are lucky to have you in and around that you work with, because you can just see there's a burning desire that you want more.
Yeah.
But with that wanting more, you've got that humility about yourself, wanting to learn and grow in the right direction. So I can only see it going for another busy schedule for yourself, which you don't mind, but there's going to be so many opportunities as you go over the next, say, 18, 24 months. So can't wait to have you back on podcast again. And thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Cheers. Sweet. All done.